Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lex, and today's video will be looking at what happens when one has no ambitions in life and wastes nearly a decade doing nothing. Today, we are going to be looking at the never-ending nightmare that is Yandere Simulator and why it will never be finished. At least not in my lifetime, anyway. For those who are unfamiliar with the word yandere, it is a trope commonly seen in Japanese media. It is used to describe a character who has a very unhealthy love interest in another person. Someone who seems sweet at first, but is easily willing to go to extreme ends in order to be with that person. Yandere Simulator, created by the disgraced game developer Alex Mahon, born June 30th, 1988, was a game inspired by this concept. The game follows a high school girl named Ayano Ashi as she attempts to win the love of her crush, Toru Yamada. Now, in-game, Ayano refers to Toru as senpai, but this is actually an incorrect use of the term. A senpai is a term of respect used for an upperclassman or someone in a senior position. Toru and Ayano are meant to be in the same class, so she should not be referring to him as her senpai. She would only be doing this if she was younger than he was. Incorrect use of terms aside, the goal of the game is to eliminate a rival girl who also has a crush on Taro. Players can either be nice and matchmake the girls with other boys, or go to more unhinged methods that include deletion of life from the other girls. Two of the rivals, Mita and the school nurse, are adult women, so their desire for Taro, a student, is completely inappropriate, and I have no idea what Alex was thinking. The game was initially released, and I say that term very, very loosely, in 2014. The game gained instant popularity not long afterwards due to gaming YouTubers such as Markiplier and Cub Scouts playing it, exposing the game to a wider audience, many of them at the time being children. In 2017, Alex announced a partnership with TinyBuild, an American game publisher, but this would fall through just months later. The game was supposed to feature 10 rival girls, the first one being Osana Najimi, who was a childhood friend of Taro. Now, Yandere dev Alex over there said that he aimed to complete Osana and implement her into the game before 2017. She was not released until August of 2020. That is 3 years of broken promises and pushbacks. Instead of working on the actual rivals of the game that have been on the website for 100 years, Alex instead released an update for the game called 1980s Mode. This version of the game followed the story of Ayano's mother, Ryoba, in the year 1989, as she attempted to win the heart of Ayano's father, Jokichi. The game featured 10 rivals, which shows that Alex is capable of working on the original 10. He is just taking his sweet time for whatever reason. The game's code is also a hot mess, to put it nicely. Now, code would be the lifeblood of any software. If that doesn't work properly, then the rest of the software suffers as well. Yandere Simulator's code is poorly optimized, and the game runs terribly as a result. There are easier ways to code the game and improve its performance, as many YouTube videos of people covering it have shown, but Alex doesn't do any of those methods. The game has been in development for an entire decade, and there's no real progress being made on it. Alex just keeps inflating the game and its code with useless features that don't add anything to the main experience. Now, all this inflation is not what seasoned game developers do. They focus on the major parts of the game and getting that to work before they start working on the little details. For example, looking at the game's latest update from October 1st, Alex mentions that there will be a revamp to the 1980s mode. Okay, fine, but why is he working so hard on revamping a side mode when the main product that has been in the oven for nearly a decade is not finished yet? Other features of the game has also faced criticism, such as the taking pictures of girls' unmentionables while at school. Despite the intense feedback, this feature was never removed from the game. But the game's development seemed to come to a screeching halt in September of 2023, when news broke out that Alex Mahan, an adult in his 30s, had been having inappropriate communications with a teenage girl, one that allegedly involved some not good images of her. Many voice actors from the game and volunteers had their work removed, and they also called out Alex's disgusting actions. He had an apology, and I say that loosely, video released earlier this year that had been taken down. As of making this video, Alex has not released an update on the main Yandere Simulator YouTube channel for nearly 2 years. Instead, many updates are released on the Yandere Archive channel, which is not as large as the main one. Now that the backstory is out of the way, I'd like to give my thoughts on the situation. Last year, I spoke about Alex's awful actions with that teenage girl, and I still hope the California police take him away in handcuffs, but I've made that point already. Now, I was 11 when this game was released, so I was still in primary school. In that decade, I have finished primary school, finished secondary school, finished college, finished an internship, and got a job. That was my sister. Wasting time on features that don't add anything to the game, banning people on his Discord who try to have any fun. At one point, there were speedrun videos of getting banned from his Discord server. That's a giant red flag, if you ask me, for anybody. Now, there is another game that came out just months after Yandere Simulator, and it was one that changed the scope of independent game development and helped shape the childhood and lives of many people who looked at it. That game was Five Nights at Freddy's 1, released in August of 2014. The game was created by Scott Cawthon, born out of criticism that he received about the characters from his previous game, Chipper & Sons Lumber Company, looking like scary animatronics, the robots that you would see at like 80s pizza places like Chuck E. Cheese's or Disneyland. Five Nights at Freddy's 1 features the player trying to fend off Freddy Fazbear, Bonnie the Bunny, Chica the Chicken, and Foxy the Pirate Fox during the night shift at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Players must manage their power source, the office doors, and the security cameras to ensure no robotic animals find their way inside the office. When people weren't happy with the spin-off game FNAF World, Scott apologized and issued refunds to every single player and listened to the criticism. When a young fan wrote Scott a letter, he sent her a box full of FNAF items. FNAF recently celebrated its 10-year anniversary in August, and within that 10-year time span, FNAF has released 21 games, 54 books, a storm of merchandise, and a movie that released in 2023, with a second movie coming out next year. Scott is what every game developer or business owner in general should be. Someone who is kind, listens to critiques, appreciates the community that they have built, and aspires to give back to that community that they've built. Alex has done none of those things. He just complains, acts like he can do no wrong, and does not appreciate the people who did enjoy the game in the first place and gave him free publicity. Cub Scouts, for example, had a long-going series of Yandere Simulator myths where he would test out things people wrote to him in YouTube comments, but then when everything hit the fan, he stopped that series. Prior to that, that series was free publicity for the game. He does not deserve any of the money or success that Alex has been given. The only thing that Alex deserves, in my opinion, is a visit from the California State Police. Another game series besides Five Nights at Freddy's that also became incredibly popular and took a while to make was the Cuphead series, where all of the footage on screen was drawn by hand. Before I leave you all this fine morning, afternoon, evening, or whenever you may be watching this video, I would like to leave you with a fun fact. Did you know that Vicky, Princess Royale, daughter of Queen Victoria and Prince Albert, was a very intelligent child at a very young age? She began learning French at the age of just 18 months, and she began to learn German when she was 4, later on learning Latin and Greek. At the age of 6 years old, her studies included geography, arithmetic, history, and Prince Albert would tutor her in philosophy. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video and want to see more of my content, then please subscribe to Sweet Hister Tea, a channel full of random facts, lots of sparkles, and tons more videos to come in the future. Thank you so much again for watching, and until next time, bye-bye!
There's a part of myself that I'm missing. No, I gotta lie to